This is Off Planet Radio.
Welcome back again to Off Planet Radio, Off Planet TV. I'm Randy Moggins, and it has been a long time, both in terms of me doing regular podcasts and also for my esteemed guest today, my brother from another mother in Latin America, Carlos Del Angel. Welcome, my friend.
Oh, that was a nice interview. Brother from another mother. That's great. That sounds good. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here again, and I feel very honored for that. So here we go again. Here we are, and let's talk. Let's have a good talk after after 9 years without
9 years.
without
Almost
meeting
a
each
decade.
other. Yes, that's.
A lot of
My
water
God,
is passed over the dam. Yeah.
It's ridiculous because it's like it has been. I feel like it was like a long time ago, but now when you count the years, you say 9 years. Oh my God! All that what actually happened in 9 years is It's a very long story.
It's almost like another century. It is, literally.
Yes.
Another century.
Yeah, it sounds like that. Yeah.
What we've been through in terms of the pandemic, so-called, and the shifting tides of the world itself, and specifically going into, I guess, our common touchstone, which is the paranormal aspects of the UFO, UAP phenomena.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off by saying this. I think it's interesting that they have retitled what we called UFOs as UAP. Got some thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that they actually did that because they have to reconstruct all the idea, all this concept that they have been promoted for a lot of time, all the related stuff for the extraterrestrial beings, the UFOs, all these flying saucers over the whole skies and all that stuff. They had to do that because now we are facing another step to the what the agenda is, the ET agenda. And I think that it's like they always do that, in different aspects. They are walking towards reconstructing some concepts in order to print that new concepts to the mindset in the people.
Yeah.
So the reason for
It's
that, yes, the reason for that
it's
is
what I call semantic reconfiguring.
yes,
They
that's correct.
basically they use language to reconfigure the scenario, mainly because
That's
now there's enough people out there who have woken up in this post-pandemic period.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a coincidence that the reconfiguring of UFO UAPs occurred during this period of time. And then, of course, in the US, I think it was the Senate hearings, which was complete bullshit. That was another cover up. But by renaming something and reframing it, you remove the phenomena from, let's just say, the more esoteric metaphysical side of it into something that's a hard physical.
Yes, yes, and that's correct. Because I think they did that because they had to reconstruct this all this story, all this narrative that they have been provided to us for a long time, that something out of this world is coming to us, you know. But now, you know, I don't know if you actually have been hearing this, that they are now promoting this idea that actually these kind of beings that they say they don't know what they are, quote,
Yeah.
maybe they come from another dimension, not from another planet. And this is actually, this
Yeah.
is something that this idea actually was placed on the desk a long time ago. I think that the first person that actually talked about this was Jacques Fabrice Ballet, the scientist that actually worked for military stuff and provide a lot of information. And you know, he actually provided a lot of information for some people in Hollywood also. We know this, we all know this movie called the third encounters, or something like that.
Oh,
uh,
Close Encounters,
yeah,
the
that's correct.
third kind.
Yeah, the third kind.
Yeah.
So he actually was one of the persons who provided a lot of information on this. He also provided information related the secret projects on all the investigation he made was related for trying to find the and a part of the truth of what actually was going on the UFO scenario, on this phenomena of extraterrestrial beings being, you know, contacting a lot of people, or actually abducting a lot of people.
Yeah.
And one of the premises that he provided is that it is for sure that maybe that we are seeing in our skies are not structure ET aircraft. It is like, you know, Earth aircraft, military aircraft built here in this planet by military industry with our money,
Yeah.
with our paid with our taxes. And there is a big, you know, probability that this agenda is actually that what they are going to do is to, you know, place all this movie over the skies that the ETs are coming to contact us, or maybe actually for trying to, you know, invade the air. So that will be the perfect scenario for the whole world. Make you know, a one government, this new world order, you know,
Right. Right.
and fight against an extraterrestrial or whatever, you know, outsiders that actually coming to us. So that's actually an old idea, but now they are taking that idea again. So I think, in my personal opinion, is that the reason the reason that actually they changed this UFO to the UAPS, you know, UAPS, is because they have to restructure the mindset in the people in order to promote this narrative for this new step that they are actually bringing to us. Because the next years, it's very probable that they actually present this kind of a scenario in our skies. I don't know what you think about that.
It's a set of questions.
Yeah.
Uh, because they continue to, let's just say, mass gaslight us about the nature of what these craft and the beings behind them really are.
Yeah.
They us rooted into this physicality. Physicality is breaking down.
Yeah, that's correct.
Part of the Great Awakening, part of what you have been talking about for probably decades, is the awakening that's occurred.
Yeah.
And it's not mass awakening, it's awakening on a level of maybe 3 to 5%, which is the tipping. So the tipping point reaches, and there's a reality that injects itself into us, where we begin to understand that there are dimensions beyond what we perceive in limited consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
And that these craft represent, the beings represent something, let's just say, more celestial.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this. What exactly does shiny demise mean? Shiny Demise Project. I
Yeah,
love them.
that's a good question. It was one of the first questions I received a long time ago. Shiny demise actually means that we as humankind are going to take all this border line goes down for us in order to have a new world. And the shiny means that it has to be, like there's light after dark. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Because everything that we are going through right now is the dark tunnel we are, all this mess we have around the world for, the so-called wars, Ukraine, Taiwan, China, Russia, whatever, all that stuff. The pandemic, all this COVID stuff that happened, like 3-4 years ago. The financial system going down, all this fear around, this atmosphere of fear of there's something that is coming, but it's not happening, but it's coming again, and all the people just want to live their lives, like everything is normal, like everything is going good, but it is not. It isn't. we have a world, in flames completely. Everywhere you are looking at, you can find a problem. You can find something due to the government, the corrupt governments. You can find, these criminal or organizations doing some kind of stuff with drugs and all that crap for trafficking people. And you can find war, you can find problems everywhere. So our world is now going through this dark tunnel where the light is just, crossing that this dark tunnel, and there is light. That's what shiny demise is.
Okay.
That we should be focusing ourselves for finding that light and bring that light from the future to the present, to our present, that, shining up our minds, our heads, our hearts, and understand that if if we don't just come together, they are going to win. They're going to they're
Exactly.
going to reach the objective. What they actually want is to have a new world order. That's what actually means. Is this world is not new. It's something that has decades.
Oh
New
my
world
gosh.
order. Yeah.
Centuries, actually, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been designing this for a long time.
That's
You know,
correct.
just to unpack that a little bit. When you talk about the light going to a dark tunnel,
hmm
this is a metaphor.
That's a metaphor.
At the end
Yes,
of the
that's correct.
tunnel, at the end of the tunnel is the light.
hmm
And it only takes a tiny sliver of light to penetrate darkness.
hmm
And so Wow, you just gave me a whole download. I don't know if I can unpack it all, but we are so much on the same page with this, Carlos.
Yeah. And the reason for that is that I see that, all the disease doesn't have to be, all disease doesn't have to be, just as dark, or you don't have to feel about, you don't have to feel bad about that. Or even for all of us, when we are going to face our own death, where we're going to, pass away, you have to look at this like a new opportunity for start over again, for whatever you have pending. You have this in this life that you didn't, maybe finished, and there are some stuff that you just left behind that you actually wanted to do but you didn't. So it's a new beginning for you. So this is not the end. Even when we actually see this as something very critical, a critical situation that we have around the world, I think that there's like a window of opportunity for all of us to understand that we are more than just bones and flesh and blood.
Yes,
We are
yes.
more than that. And I think that these symptoms we have around the world is they are trying to tell us something, that we must be better than we have been all these years, all these ages, and then we can become better people, better persons for this world, for the new generations. That's what I think that it actually means, all this critical situation for us, then a new opportunity. But sometimes it's very difficult because we live in a human condition where we have to also be part, we have to be part of the system. You have to pay your taxes, pay your bills, go to school, go to work, and do stuff, doing human stuff. You have to deal with that every single day. But in every single day, you also have a little time of window, maybe 5 minutes before the night, when before you are going to sleep, when you can just sit down, close your eyes, and take a deep breath and just start to meditate and connect with your own self inside of you. And if we do that for a certain period of time, eventually you are going to feel different, because your mind is going to engage something else in a very soft dimension that is not here, and you will be provided by just kind of clearance, this kind of light, for for looking in front of you what is good in the people, what is good in the world, what is good in your life, and then you are starting to be grateful for that. And when you
Ah,
yeah, and
gratitude.
gratitude,
Yeah,
yes, when you feel that kind of
right.
gratitude, you actually change everything, because you can see all the situations from a different point of view, and start act from yourself very different. you you can be more patient, more tender with all people that actually are suffering. What I understand, by looking a lot of people out there, is that they are actually suffering, or they suffer too much when they were kids. They were, like little children. We all actually suffer in some point in our lives,
Yes, yes.
for any different aspects or problems that we actually got in our lives when we were kids. That prints for that pain prints, that prints of pain that we have in our system, when we grow up and become adults, we just express like that in with the aggressive way of being, with the hateful, all this kind of being racist and rude and all that stuff. But that is just a symptom of that a little kid inside of you was actually suffering in that time, and now you are trying to express that pain.
Yeah.
And what you have to do is just to connect to your own self and look just inside of you what you can do for, you know, let's do that. Let's do this. All what you actually have lived for a long time, you have to forgive that. You cannot change that. Anything of you have actually lived before, you cannot change that, but you actually can change your own present to change your future. And that's it. That's the, if you look in the, look this in a big scheme, that's what actually world is, facing. All the people now, what they are, the way of living of the people is just they want to this, they want to move step from the real problems on their lives, because they already have too much pain inside of them. That's the reason why all this social media and all that stuff, the TV in their times, was part of that, entertainment crap, for bring your mind in a way of focusing to something else but the real problem.
Right.
But
Right.
now
So
I
you really unloaded a whole bunch of stuff here. Basically, we have spent our adult lives in trauma reenactment of things that we experienced as children.
that's correct.
And the world reinforces that pain without offering anything except perhaps pharma drugs and different types of therapy.
Hmm.
And I say this from the standpoint that I come from a place where I've gone through a very dark period in my life. It's why I dropped off social media. It's why I hadn't done shows for nearly a year.
Hmm.
Was that I went through a very dark time. And I'm not putting down therapy. I'm not putting down the use of certain medications for a period of time to bridge this. But ultimately, what we have to do in dealing with this, wherever you are in your life, is you have to shut down the matrix around you, just what you were talking about.
Hmm.
Get into a space where you begin to reconnect with the heart center, reconnect with your authentic self, which is, from my standpoint, from my experience, that authentic self is untouched by the things that traumatize the carnal physical human being on the level of soul wounding and things like that.
Yeah.
We haven't, we're getting there. Again, I talk about the tipping point. It is this place where we're starting to realize, and I'm seeing it even with people that I know outside of this venue. There's this awakening that's going on, that the world around us isn't so concrete and real, and that what we're experiencing in some way is a type of theater of the mind.
Yes, that's correct. And it's tricky, because when you live as human being here in this kind of reality, it's normal that you sometimes got lost. But you don't have to, you don't have to put yourself in the position of, punish your own self with certain words or certain things that the only what's going to happen is that you are going to feel worst for that. You have to forgive everything what happens before, and you have to just left behind and keep going on. But what you actually said of connect with your own self here at the center of the heart, with your soul, it's very important. Because something that I actually say to the people right now is that the only way that you have to face all these problems in the earth, that or whatever is going to happen, whatever is coming to us as humankind, is that you have to be on your own center. You have to be on your, in this middle path that Buddha actually told us, like 2,000 years ago, the halfway path.
Yes.
Because the things that are going to happen are going to be very, very difficult for everyone in this planet. And the only way for facing that and, transcend all that troubles, all that things that we are going to see with our eyes, that we actually been, living all these last decades, all these problems that all humankind has. Uh, the only way for facing that is that you have to be on your center, and that will be the only way for you and your mind to assimilate what's going on and understand that you are more than that, then you can do more, that you can do better, that you can be a better you can be a better person for you, and even for your own people, your core, your family core, your family, your children, your wife, your whatever, the people that actually surround you. You have to be that, um you have to take the bait for that and say, everything's going to be fine. Doesn't matter what happens, we have to be in the center of our
Exactly.
own, and we are
Yes.
going to get through of this. And that's it.
Yeah. In a sense, what you're talking about here is, again, this concept of what I call the field effect. In other words, what I create within myself has a radiance.
Hmm.
It generates either chaos and confusion or peace and clarity. And one of the things that I've learned, and it was one of the reasons why I went off of social media completely, because I saw the effects that it was having on my mental health. But I learned in this last, I'll say, year, that if I generate a field of peace around myself, if I am able to get into the space where no matter what happens on that external world level, inside here, I'm okay. And
Hmm.
the world's okay. And to pull people in just simply through the energy that we generate, because we're generators, we're
That's correct.
spiritual generators. And in so many ways, I don't think humanity has been taught this. We were given faint words by uh, a great teacher in Avatar maybe 2,000 years ago, but we miss the message of what it means when it says that the kingdom of God is within you, that you literally are a sliver, an aspect of that creator. You are yourself a creator.
Hmm.
The way we operate is on the quantum level of being able to generate a field of peace, of safety, of security, even in times of chaos and turmoil.
That's correct. Yes. Hmm. That's absolutely correct. What you said is that if you actually look this time, what all the social media and the social network, the all these main corporations that are controlling all the information
Yeah,
for people, what they actually want is to have have the people separate each other. The religion did that for a long time. Now
of
it's the
course.
media
Yeah,
where actually trying to do it. So
yeah,
now it's the media where they are actually trying to do that, to separate people, not just by in physical terms of if you are in a different economic position than the other one, is for the way of thinking, that you are actually like being very different than the other, but you are not. You are also a human being with the same chemicals in your body, with the same way of function on your body. You are actually the same kind of being. You are not so you are not so different from anybody else. And all this entertainment that they are actually creating for us in these devices,
Yeah.
TikTok, Facebook, and all that stuff is for get the people very focused on things that are just bullshit. Sorry for the word.
No, no, feel free.
That
We're
is just
non-family friendly here.
yeah, it's just bullshit, and it's for being entertained, not being focused on your own development, on your own you know to construct yourself in a better person. So that's the reason why I think that we now have this opportunity, because in this window they are creating all this panorama for that they are going to like bring all this new scenario for a new world, with wars, with something else from the space, with something else from wherever this they are coming, and they're going to bring this just
Yeah.
in a boom, in a very, very, very strict way for everyone to accept that. That's the actually shock doctrine, no? That puts something there with fear, with no, with no advisory before, and then the people have to accept the new reality. And the only way that
Uh,
you have to face all that stuff is what we have been talking uh, in this conversation, is that you have to be in your center. You have to be
yeah.
very, very very how do you say this? You have to be on your own self,
Center.
creating a yeah,
Percent.
in your center, to be
Yeah.
in your own self, for creating a different space with different energy than it's on the external world. That's the only way that you have, because you don't have weapons. You don't need that, but you don't have weapons. You don't have maybe the money. That's for sure, because the 98% of the people in this world are actually just below or beneath the 2% of the people that has all the money in
All
the
the money.
world. So
Yeah.
you don't have the money for changing the world, but you have something here and something here for changing that energy patterns, for create different reality. And
But
that's what you have to understand.
even that money is an illusion.
Yes.
It is a system that was built out of very ancient, going back probably to Sumeria at least, ancient trade rights and the creation of wealth as something that was esteemed to be desirable.
Hmm.
Whereas in the old world, the world before the civilization, the simulacrum that we live in took hold. We lived naturally. We flowed with the earth. The earth provides everything that we need.
That's correct.
It's just our foods, our medicines, our water, our air that we breathe. And in that old world, wealth was wisdom, it was love, and it was connection to each other.
Hmm.
The world we live in now is a world of separation, poverty, deprivation, perversity, um, and deception.
Yeah.
And the way we break through that is to reconnect back to that ancient world that still exists, although it's been covered over, paved over, like mowing down a rainforest and then putting a highway through it. That's kind of how I view this artificial planet that we live in, this world system, is that they, to quote Joni Mitchell, paved paradise and put up a parking lot.
Yes.
So
Yeah, that's correct. And what I think about all this, that a lot of people telling that this is like a war of between light and dark, or good and evil. But what I actually see is that is like there's a statement. I don't know who actually created this statement, but it is something that I agree with. That is that the war is not against good and evil. Is sorry, the war is not good against evil. The war is ignorance against wisdom. Because what happens here is that if you actually see the you know all the bunch of people, they don't know that what history is. All our history as humankind is very, uh, it's a lie. Every single history in this planet, for nations, for governments, for countries, for whatever, even religion or even science, almost all of them are a bunch of lies. So what lies actually creates is ignorance. So if you have all the people misinformed, there's some kind of information that is not true. You then have people that actually don't know the truth, so they are ignorant about that truth.
Mhm.
And part of this lie is that you are just like, as I said before, that you are just a bunch of bones, cool, and blood, but that's not what you are. You are you are
Exactly.
energy. You are an
Boom.
energy
Yeah.
posing inside this body, and you can create whatever you want if you only know that and train yourself for achieving these kinds of abilities for creating something new. As you actually learn new language, you learn play some instrument, you learn to create something else, you can be able to create whatever you want when
This
you
is the
when you have
creation of worlds.
that's
Yes.
correct.
This is world creation. This is why you have that guitar behind you. It's
Yeah,
why I have guitars laying around back here. It's why I do artwork. It's why I do this show.
yeah,
It's because we create something, and this is the God aspect.
that's
We
correct.
create out of ourselves something that didn't exist before
Hmm.
by virtue of the fact that we are unique creations. We are unique in that we are, of ourselves, aspects of God, of Creator, universe,
Yeah.
however people want to frame that we do create from nothing, and that the poorest person can be the wealthiest in terms of manifesting a reality of peace. I mean, I've met people who are, let's just say, on the poverty line, and yet they're happier than most of the neurotic people I know that have tons of money
Yeah.
because the money doesn't heal. The money actually is poisonous, it's cancerous, and we're forced to use it because of the system we're in.
Hmm.
But the way we do this is we detox. We detox from the toxins around us, within us, and we use this inner world to manifest the reality that we require for our own peace and happiness.
Hmm. And that's, I think that also that's the reason why they are actually trying to put us in a virtual listening area now. With
Yes,
this,
exactly.
yeah,
VRAR.
yeah,
Yeah.
and also as you maybe can see all these years they are transferring this economic stuff from paper to a virtual currency.
So,
So
yeah.
that's another way of putting your mind in a different position for having a different layer or maybe above layer that to control your mindset. And that's something that people actually don't have any idea for that. And that's the reason why it's very important to have information, to have, this feeling of trying to find the truth everywhere you can actually do that. When you actually are in the looking for the truth, you are going to see a lot of, stones, bushes, and trash that you have to dismiss. But if you keep going through that, you're in some point you're going to find the truths what you want to find. All that truths that you are actually want to know, you are going to find them because you are going to put in the position of this energy for attract the truth through yourself. But you have to going through a lot of trash, a lot of again, a lot of bullshit, and
Oh, yeah.
and that's important because it's that's going to give you a different panorama for what it's actually going on the world. You are going to understand that this government you have in any country you are, it doesn't matter. The government doesn't want you to know the truth. The government doesn't want you to have this power of your own to create different way of living outside the system. That's the reason why they are
Yeah,
pushing a
yeah.
lot of with this all this stuff for creating war, creating crime, creating drugs on the streets, creating troubles, creating whatever chaos actually is for people, for not focusing on creating a new way of living with better things around us.
Now think about the word government.
Yeah,
It literally means mind control.
that's correct. That's absolutely correct. So,
They
uh,
put it right in front of our faces.
yes, as we are actually um, talking about, creating stuff and have this the power for creating new things. That's the reason why they are actually renaming things in different ways.
Ah, we're back to the UAPS again, the
Yes,
WAPS. Yeah.
because the way you name things, it creates a different level of consciousness for that. So I'm really convinced that the way that the things are being, happening all these years, it's because there is a hidden agenda for bringing all the mankind to face a new world order in this, coming years. I've been just, just listening to the last conversation we have, and I say, oh my God, do I really said all that stuff that time? And yeah,
I
and
listened to it too.
and what actually, you know, listen, there is that um, there was a time when I said that we had like 15 years of window for trying to change things, and the time is now coming to the end. The time is coming to it's over. We are just facing the last maybe 5 years for waking maybe the most the most
Yeah.
number for waking up whatever we can help for waking on this nightmare we are living, because I'm pretty sure that this next 5 years that we are going to face, they are going to be the most difficult times in in our lives for all what is coming. The people actually don't um, they maybe don't know, but these next 5 years are going to have a lot of they're going to bring us a lot of struggle. We're going to have um, elections on US, elections on Mexico, elections on Russia, elections on actually it was Taiwan that actually happened a few weeks ago. um, there is a war menace from China to Taiwan, and in the Middle East, all this tension that is actually happening. And what I think that the breakpoint is that when the US is going to change for a new government.
Yeah.
uh, as we can see now, they are just a little step behind for getting a new civil war, because the people is very divided, and that's
We're
what.
literally in a civil war here in the United
Yeah.
States. I mean, and
Yeah.
we have been since the pandemic occurred,
Hmm.
because that was the dividing line right there.
Yeah.
It created divisions with people in ways that were a psychological operation designed to see, and trust me, they monitor and they test. They watched who was complying, they watched who wasn't complying, and the people watched each other. This was the classic This is classic, actually, Marxism. It is Soviet-style restructuring of a culture because the people literally turned into the police.
Yeah. Yes. That's correct. And that's a kind of strategy that you actually can see in the in Rome 2000 years ago. Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
That's what they're
It's an
actually doing right now.
old strategy, and
Yeah.
I'm so amazed it still works.
It
You
still
see,
works.
it's done on a subliminal level.
Yes,
People don't realize,
that's
so
correct.
you have red state, blue state, you have MAGAs versus wokers, you have all of these ridiculous categorizations of people that create strife and division. And that
Yes.
division makes us easier to control because we have an externalized agenda rather than the agenda that would serve us, which is the inner landscape of
Hmm.
detaching from it. I can't separate myself from this world. I have to live in it. This part of me, this aspect of me, this consciousness, which manifested into this physical reality, holds a job, has a home, has a family, has financial responsibilities. I deal with that, but I segmentalize it by understanding this is one component of, quote, who I am. And most people aren't capable of doing that. They're fully invested into the system, into the game.
That's correct. And I think that the reason for this all the strategy actually is works is that it is only saying us something, that it is that we actually need a change right now, because the only way that this actually works is because the people thinks that there are two separate things that they are being part of. But these guys, in the in the um, in the pyramid, they are the same. They are the same guys controlling everything, even when they look as they are enemies, or that if they are fighting each other, people thinks that, but that is not true.
My question to you is this: are they human?
I think that that's a good question, huh? I think that some of them actually are human, but not all of them. Maybe the guys behind this scenario, we well, um, what they actually are doing is like creating portals through the human bodies for having control over them,
Yes, yes,
and
keep going. Come
yeah,
on,
and
talk to me.
moving all that strings
Yeah.
through them. And some of them are humans. And actually, let me tell you something, that there's an idea that I actually been hearing, the last 3 or 4 years, that I already knew a long time ago, is that the most of the people of the world have their soul trapped somewhere else, and they are being controlled by this kind of beings. That's the reason why we actually can see people doing so crazy stuff, like killing each other, violating, trafficking, and creating chaos everywhere, because the
Yes.
humankind, the human soul, sorry, is trapped somewhere else. And these entities, these dark entities or whatever they are controlling this nervous system, this body, for doing some stuff. And that's the reason why sometimes this happens, like in a couple of times. You can see people sometimes that they just look at them, and they are like, and you are talking to them, and they are
Mhm.
like if they are completely disconnect from this
Blanking out.
place. Yes. So, and you actually talk to them, and you say, man, I'm talking to you. Huh? What happened? you know And we actually can see that in some of the people from from politics doing this in interviews, doing this in the TV shows, that they are like, talking and in some kind of audience, and they are just like if there were control from somewhere else behind. So yes, most of the people at the top of the pyramid, they are not humans. The most powerful of them, they are not humans. They are beings from somewhere else controlling this planet, because they need us, because we are energy. We are energy, food to them.
Go into the
We
loose
Yeah,
aspect of it.
they suck out of us the energy where that we create something, and something that I actually have been misspelled is that you only feed them with fear and hate and all that stuff,
That,
but that's not true. I also find out that you also feed them with some kind of, this, I don't want to say this, but when you feel like these good
just
sanctions,
say it, man.
yeah.
There's no rating here.
When you feel, actually, when you are think that you are in love with someone else, when you feel this kind of happiness and all that stuff, you are also feeding them. The,
Lust, lust,
yes,
yeah,
loss
false
also.
love.
And that's the reason why the Zen masters in the past always are telling us that the way of being actually connected to our own inner self is for having no mind, having no feelings at all, because the feelings attach you to the system, to the people, to the experiences, and to the things. So the moment you actually find out when you can detach from your emotions from that, it doesn't mean that you actually feel love for someone of your family, your wife, your children, whatever. It means that you are very, very aware of what actually you are feeling through your real self in your um inside, and you can express that kind of energy. We know want something, you know um in way back from the people that you are actually expressing your feeling. So you actually also feed this kind of beings with any kind of energy you provide to them. I don't know if you actually watched this movie called Monsters University, maybe, and Monsters Inc.
I remember this. Yes, yes.
Yes,
This is
they're
going back,
actually
but yeah, Monster
they're
U.
they're actually telling you something behind there, that in the first movie they are telling you that the fear from children creates energy to the monsters, right? But they also find that the loss, the happiness, these things for children to be excited, they they are actually create energy to them in huge ways. So that's actually what is happening here. This matrix, this holographic structure we have here is being feeding, it's been fed with our energy in any kind of emotion we actually can express. That's the reason why meditation and all this oriental wisdom you have to put in practice, for put your own self in the center and be, in this middle way of understand that the only way that you can have here for being through all this again is be on your own center, and don't be being manipulated by these kind of beings moving strings behind you. I also want to talk about experience that I actually want to talk you on the same picture here, is that when I was a kid, I remember that there were a lot of times that when I went to the street with my parents and I look at the cars, there wasn't anybody in the cars, driving. I saw the cars being just moving without no one in there. It happens a lot of times. And I actually didn't understood why actually that happened to me. Many years later, my kid, I have a little kid. He has now 9 years old, but when he has 4 years, there was a time that we were on the street. I was driving the car, and he actually stated, "Hey, Dad, why there is no people driving the cars?" And he said, "What?" "Yes, look at there. That car over there is not. There's no one there in the car." And I said, "When I just, look at the car, I see somebody there just driving, but my kid couldn't see anyone." And that happened a lot of times when my kid has, like 4 years, 5 years maybe. And then I remember that when I was a kid, I actually, pass on the same experience. So I remember a time when I just asked this to my own self. You remember maybe that I told you about him, this inner self from another time called Antar. And I asked him, "Hey man, why actually this is happening to my kid?" It actually happened to me when I was kid, and I need answer. So he stated that that's the reason for that is some of the people that we actually looking at all over the world, they're like, holograms being controlled by something else
Yes.
outside.
Yeah.
But we actually can see them physically because we are very immersed here on the physical plane in the same energy that we actually can interact with them, but they are not real people. So when you are a kid, you are able to connect your brains to different frames of energies where you are above that frame and you can see the reality. That's the
This
reason
just
why.
goes into the NPC that I've talked about for many years,
Mhm.
non-player characters, which are basically background figures. They're holograms. They're
Yeah,
characters that don't have any real interaction in gameplay. They're
yeah. Hmm. See, that's correct.
scenery.
And actually it's something that what's happening. So for your question behind on if there are humans or not, these people that are controlling this world, maybe some of them are. The physical body is a human being, but what it's controlling this human body is not actually human. They are from different, from different origin, the different frame, different kind of vibrations, and they want us to feed them over and over and over again. That's the reason why also, sorry, uh, these kind of cycles are repeating over and over again in the human history. Because what we are living right now it's something that actually happened before in different contexts. Maybe,
Oh yeah,
yeah, but it's
absolutely.
it's the same. It's the
Yeah,
same thing.
this is a replay. This
Yes,
is
that's
get the
correct.
joysticks out. This is a replay.
That's
This is
correct.
actually the thesis of what I've been talking about in my series called The Eye of the Needle, and which evolved into a series of messages that I received via automatic writing from a group
Hmm.
called Groups. And it goes deeply into this, what we'll just call immersive reality, for lack of a better word. What we're dealing with here is very much gameplay on the cosmic level. In
Hmm.
other words, it's like, okay, I lost that round. Let's do this again. Set your controls. We're going to replay this game. We didn't win the last time. And I view that from a comic standpoint. In other words, cosmic comic is that I think it's funny. I think it's funny that inside of the simulacrum we live in, there are gamers who are submerging into a reality, almost like Russian nesting dolls. So we're now at the place where reality, and none of it's reality. The real reality is not really outside, it's inside here and here.
Yeah, and actually there was this man called Carl Gustav Jung, that actually state that most of the things that we are looking at around us is not real. The real world is inside of us, in our in the inner consciousness. So that's the reason why it's very important for being working on trying to develop our own inner selves from this point of view. Because if we are actually energetic beings with, these orbs, these energy balls that we are controlling this body, we have to remember that the way is just going inside. That's the only exit from this place. There is no exit going,
No.
going
We're on the
somewhere
same
else.
page here, brother. Completely.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Like I said, you're my brother from another mother.
Yeah, that's correct. Even when we have been talking, by a lot of years, I remember that there was a couple of times that I just were looking to your stuff on YouTube, and I remember our conversations and the things that actually have been, bring us together. Were Alex Collier at some point, a long time ago, and I also want to point is that you are correct. We are brothers from different mother, because we are a kind of people that are trying to find the truth and try to help everybody else to wake up from this nightmare and realize that they are more than just a human stuff. They are like, gods trying to waking up again from this.
Gods, it's what my friend James Martinez calls gods in amnesia.
Yeah, that's correct. That's the word I actually try to find. It's gods with amnesia. We, in some point, a lot of us just forgot that we were creators or all this place, and we are just playing a very dark and dirty game from other beings, trying to manipulate our minds for making us to believe that they are the gods, that they are above us, that they are superior in some point. But that's not true. We are on the same position, even maybe even above them. That's the reason why they actually fear us. That's the reason that they don't want us to wake up and realize
also
that.
Why has it taken so long to subsume humanity if they're so all powerful?
Yeah.
Why all these plans? Why all these devices? Why the gaslighting? Why the scenario building? If like that, they were able to completely just pave us over. And the answer is that we're greater. Each one of us individually is as or more powerful than they are.
Yeah.
And the war that they're fighting on their side, it's just as dire and just as extreme, because they realize what they're up against, even though we, being gods in amnesia, don't know our own power. This kind of goes into the last show that we did 9 years ago, which was our future selves. And I'd like to delve into that. I'd also like to take a break at this point, get something to drink and do bathroom, and then we'll come back and then let's talk about that. Let's reprise that a little bit.
Sure.
We'll do that. We'll be right back on the other side of Off Planet Radio.